Hi everyone, greetings from National Skills Network. This is Madhuri and I am pursuing my interest in a very important subject that's very close to my area of, what should I say, hobby or exploration. And I'm very fortunate to go further into it today with the help of a guest. Let me introduce you to him. Before that, I'll just share a couple of important points. When we look at important events in our lives, like for example the launch of Chandrayaan, right, last year we all celebrated, and one set of people who get very excited are the children. And soon after that they start drawing rockets, they start drawing satellites, they make a lot of lovely things around it and they create stories. But have you ever wondered what happens after all this? How should the children pursue their interest? So it was in this area that I was going deeper, and I came across a very interesting initiative called Kalpana Chawla Space Academy. And I'm so fortunate to have today with me Mr. Narayan Bhargava, who's the chairman and MD of Narayan Bhargava Group. It is his brain that was behind the launch of this academy, and I'm so glad that he's here with us today. So welcome to this talk, sir.
Thank you, Madhuri.
Nice.
Wonderful to be on your show.
Thank you, sir. And it's nice that I'm able to go deeper into a subject which is very exciting, and as I said, for children also. So regarding space education, the project which you started, through Kalpana Chawla Space Academy, which is probably one of its kind in India, and I think it's the first one. It would be nice to hear from you about the vision for this academy and about the importance of space education in India, along with, let's say, the STEM subjects, the kind of orientation towards scientific discovery, innovation, etc., that is much needed today.
Today, India is fortunately placed in a situation where we have the opportunity to become number one player in the space. The reason is that we have very great brains in India. And also what we develop is the most economical model. And that has given a boost to suddenly the space program in India, which is being watched by everyone in the world. Yeah. And I'm absolutely convinced that in next 10 years, we are going to be at least, if not number one, number two space power, and over 15, 20 years, we'll become number one space power. So this is my understanding of the space power which is happening. And it has been already announced by our Prime Minister that by 35, he wants to have a space station. And by 2040, he wants one of the Indians to land on moon by ISRO's initiatives. So when objectives have been declared, and personally, I also feel like today, what 50, 60 years back, air travel meant from going from India to US, I think in next 30, 40 years, space travel is going to become the same way. Someone will say, okay, I'll just go to this place and come back. So this is something which we may feel, today that it is very difficult, but I'm 100% sure that in 40, 50 years, this is what is going to happen. Yeah. So what really has not happened is no one has done the back calculation as to for meeting these targets, how many scientists will be required. Yeah. And scientist is something which cannot be produced overnight. If I have to draw a simile with software engineer, in which India has earned its name, software engineers you can produce in 3 years' time. But scientist is something which has to be in the DNA of the person. Right. Okay. And that is why our initiative becomes very important. That we are first of its kind who are trying to create scientists from the beginning blocks. Because personally, I feel that the children's mind is most fertile when they are young. Yeah. So I feel that this is the time when you can make them aware, it would make a lot of difference. And that is why we said that we call it a nation building mission. And I said to my team that we'll name this mission as Nation Building Mission. And our job is to create scientists for India. And just not scientists, world-class scientists. That is what we have kept, target for ourselves. We don't believe in becoming mediocre.
Right.
We want to do the best. So that is what the concept of Kalpana Chawla Space Academy is, where we are trying to teach children from the age of 7th standard to 12th standard. This means they will have about 6 years, where we will teach them, whether it is STEM, whether it is space technology, we'll teach them and ensure that at the end of 6 years, they achieve the desired objectives.
Okay, that's very nice to know, sir, especially the vision and the focus areas that you have just mentioned. Now, since the school is physically located, I think it's in Lonavala, right?
That's right.
Yeah. From the school, is there a way we can try to create, this kind of enthusiasm or I would say the curiosity which is needed for a larger set of children to pursue this their interest. So, for example, when an important event happens, when we see a launch of a satellite or anything like that, we see a lot of schools talking about it, like with our Chandrayaan example or any significant thing, or children show interest in a very imaginative way of capturing the space, like we say antariksh, which is actually, it's not something that we can see with our naked eyes, but the children have that unique ability of probably imagining things. But sadly, what happens with the pressure to perform in other subjects, right? See, this somewhere dies down. So through the school, is there a way, you can extend this nurturing, I would say, the nurturing the spirit of enthusiasm, imagination, and curiosity across other schools?
So let me answer your question in two parts. First is what we did in the school that we are associated with, and we are part of that school. So we selected from 7th standard. As I said, this curriculum is from 7th standard. So we wanted to do a trial batch, which is from the school. The overall objective, which I will later on tell you, is not just for the school. But what we did for the trial batch was we selected 20 students. This batch started on 11 September 23. And today we are hardly 4 months, in that training, out of which there was a Diwali vacation as well. But I can very well tell you that these children, they come to school in the morning and they study till about 1 o'clock. And our batch starts from 3 o'clock. Our apprehension was, will they feel tired? What would happen to them? But the outcome is, firstly, if I tell them that you have to be here till 12 o'clock at midnight, I'm sure they will be very happy to be there till 12 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. So second thing which has happened is transformation in their personality. Because in school, they were not allowed to think. Here, they are doing nothing but thinking. And therefore, they have become such a different personality. And out of 20, if I had to ask, what would you become? At least 15 would say that I want to become scientist. And we will do anything to become a scientist.
Okay.
So this is the impact of just the training batch that we have started. Their personality has changed, their confidence level has changed, and they have also improved in their regular curriculum. Okay. So they have suddenly become bright students in their class. And when they're making, like our, we are asking them to make certain planes, certain things, LED circuits. It's something which is beyond their vision, which they could possibly just could dream of, but this has become a reality for them. So therefore, their personality has changed. Now coming to other schools. Now, according to me, this subject being taught has to be widespread, but not widespread in a way that everyone wants to do it and we start creating mediocre personalities. So I think now the focus will have to be, and in future, that there will be few institutes across India who will be only imparting qualitative knowledge. So I'm very positive that if you remove the commercialization out of it, then people will go for the best.
Yeah.
It is only commercialization which wants mass audience, mass fees and everything. And I think that is where we'll have to be careful about it. After opening of this school, 6 schools have already approached us to start this academy in their premises. But we are seeking certain time because we don't want to take a wrong step and come back. So that is why we are keeping things on hold for other schools. Right now, we are focusing on our school.
Okay. Yes, sir. I think the importance of quality, and also another point which you made regarding the hands-on learning which happens, which actually builds many skills also in the students as they learn. Like you said, they enjoy this so much that they're getting an opportunity to discover themselves perhaps, and the transformational journey starts from there. So this actually links to the importance of the vocational elements actually, which are nowadays, being proposed even through NEP 2020 to many schools, and also to the kind of curriculum you have perhaps envisioned. I'm sure there is a lot of this learning by doing kind of thing, right? Which is in a way exploring and getting, into the experiential aspects of learning. So this actually is very much like what NEP, the National Education Policy, talks about in terms of, creating bagless days kind of options for students when they come to school and just explore, learn, go to the industry, or maybe go and visit a scientific kind of an institution and all that. So this is already happening in your school then. So I think this space education can also be in a small way linked to such activities, but keeping in mind the importance of quality, which you just mentioned, of course. I think that's very important, and also for the quality excellence and other aspects. So would you think that whatever schools would adopt this, it can be part of it?
Yes, so Madhuri, what we have done is
Hmm.
we have kept theoretical training to the minimum.
Uh-huh.
So if one has to, if one had to give 100 hours of learning,
Yeah.
theory is only 20 hours. 80 hours, which is 80%, is dedicated towards actual learning, doing experiments, and then doing projects. So that is how we are trying to do it. The reason is this, because when one is doing practicals, it becomes your lifetime asset. If you're just studying in classroom, I'm sure over a period of time you tend to forget about it.
Yeah.
But when you're doing experiments and engaging not only your body but your mind as well, and getting involved in it, then it becomes your lifetime asset. So this is what we are trying to do, that this should become part of their normally routine of life, where they're inquisitive about things, they question about things as to why they are like this, and then find answers themselves. Not someone will come and tell them, but they will find answers, but they are guide to tell them, their guide to help them to find answers, but answers have to be found by the students themselves. So this is what we are trying to do.
Yeah, and so you mentioned that this is like an after-school program which starts after the official school hours. So can you give us an example of how would the curriculum or any one or two subjects, which get included in this kind of, the experiments they do, all the practical learning that happens?
So first, let me tell you, Madhuri, explain to you what our program is, and then I will tell you this.
Yeah.
So our idea is, from next year onwards, we'll have an open examination conducted within India, and we'll select 50 best students.
Okay.
Okay, so this is going to be a national exam where we will select 50 best students, and we will arrange for their lodging and boarding both. So when we were talking about this, we realized one thing, that no parents would want that their child does not go through the normal curriculum of passing the 10th standard and 12th. No parents would say that I'm okay if he becomes a scientist, but he's not 10th pass. Okay. So
Yeah.
we had to do it together with the normal education. So even what we are doing today and what we plan to do is that these children will go through the normal process of uh, passing the 10th standard and 12th standard.
Yeah.
And post that, we will be training them. Though space research, I believe, is also part of NEP policy also. So this is one of the subjects which have been prescribed there as well. But we want people to go through the regular curriculum so that parents are assured that their children also will be 10th and 12th pass and would be able to pursue higher studies if they want to do it. But the idea is that together with this, we train them.
Yeah.
So what we plan to do is, as of today, we have planned is 3 hours, but which, as I told you, because of the interest of students, it keeps on extending. But we have planned is 3 hours a day, uh, 5 days a week, so 15 hours a week. And during this one day, which is again very unique to us, we take them to nature.
Okay.
We go to forest because what we have to really create in them is the inquisitive mind. It is not towards a subject. Your mind has to become inquisitive. And in nature, when you see so many things, then your mind really becomes inquisitive when you start questioning why a rose is really pink or it is, red. So, so everyone sees with the same eye, but we want them to start looking, though they will look at the same thing, but with a different eye. So one day we also take them to nature. Um, uh, so this is what the curriculum is, and this is what we intend to do. That we will be practical training for them. I say make them saksham and develop a mind where they have the questions, and they should also develop the ability to find answers. Because research comes only when you find the ability to find solution as well. It's not just questioning. You should develop the ability of finding solution as well. So this is what we intend doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really inspiring, sir. The thought process which has gone in behind this entire program. And also, I think it is kind of balancing the entire, the ideal education like which a child should have, because the traditional curriculum obviously doesn't get into these aspects. Whereas through this program, I'm sure they become, they get exposed to this holistic kind of learning as well. Now coming to one important point, which could perhaps be the last part of this conversation, is whenever we start something like this, we need to create more awareness for the program. You already mentioned that you want to have a test and pick up the best of the students. So probably that way you will also be getting the, the ideal kind of students for this. But on the whole, even, for everybody to kind of open up and pick up some of these things, even they may not be doing a course in space, but to encourage them to explore on their own, to learn things on their own, and create that kind of conversation, or that some sort of an ecosystem to evolve around it. Do you think we can also make use of digital media or any form of technology? What are your thoughts on doing this kind of an activity to keep the buzz on, I would say, among the larger community of people?
Uh, Today, Madhuri, if one says I will not use digital media or technology, then I don't think so. He's even living in present stage. And what we are teaching is futuristic.
Yeah.
Futuristic technologies, futuristic things. So I don't think so. We can even think of doing away with digital media or technology. So this is something which is very important, and we are already, following that path of digitally getting connected. So there are the idea is too, because it is happening in India for the first time.
Yeah.
One objective is also to make people aware that something like this is happening.
Yes.
Because only when people know something like this is happening, that people will become inquisitive to know what is it that is happening. And the second is to attract brains or students who are already into it, but they don't know how to pursue. So for them, we are opening a window where they, if they are skilled and if they are really dedicated and if this is really passion for them, we are ready to take them and take them to a greater heights where they can be not be proud of themselves, but they can become pride of our own country.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, sir. And any other thoughts, any other ideas you wish to share? Maybe a message to the young people, perhaps?
To young people and to everyone, I would say this is an uncharted path.
Mm.
And therefore, journey for us also is as exciting as going to the moon. Okay, because it is an uncharted path.
Yeah.
And because there is no curriculum defined as of today. So I can firstly say that we have a very great organization in ISRO, and they are really helping us in building a lot of things wherever we find stumbling blocks. They would be also helping us in training the teachers, helping us with deciding the curriculum, and similarly other institutes also. So I can only say that, you can, I would say that you can leave footmarks only if you don't follow footsteps.
Right.
Okay? If you follow footsteps, you will never leave footmarks. So we are an uncharted path, and we would positively like to leave footsteps by contributing to the nation building process of creating scientists for India, of which they will be proud, will be proud, and country will be proud.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for sharing the entire story and also this inspirational, perspective on, about the value of space education and also the activities that are going on in the academy. Thanks so much. And we wish you the best. And we would like to be connected with you to learn more also. Thank you.
It will be our pleasure, Madhuri, and thanks for you spending time with us, your network spending time with us. And I'm sure you will also help us in taking us to a lot of people by creating awareness.
Yeah, that's the objective, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.